And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spirit Hunter, and this is the story about how I caught my very first full-body apparition and very first Class A EVP. So both of these things take place in a haunted location known as Sonoma Mountain Cemetery in Napa Valley. This particular time is my second visit. So a month prior to our first visit to Sonoma Mountain Cemetery, we had taken a Ouija board over to Suicide Bridge, Pasadena back in July 2007 because our friend had gotten possessed and we were wondering if anything from the bridge had possessed her. So we did a Ouija board session over there. That's the second time I had done it, and the last time I haven't touched one in over 12 years. My friend and I had taken a black candle over there, and we were trying to see if we can identify this entity. And the entity identified itself as WIV, and during the Ouija board session, my friend asked, "Have I seen you before?" And it says yes, like, it's the scariest yes response you'll ever hear. If you guys haven't seen the video, go to the Spirit Hunter Entity Follows Me from Suicide Bridge. Now for the next part of the story. So a month later, my friend left for college in Sonoma State University. Visited him. We wanted to find some haunted places in Sonoma County. Came across a place called Mountain Cemetery. And upon our first visit to Mountain Cemetery, we started an EVP session. What we used to do when we were amateurs, we just pushed the record button upon walking into haunted places and left the recorder on the entire time. Upon entering Mountain Cemetery, upon a minute into the recording, we hear a very familiar voice. And it's the same entity from Suicide Bridge that we had come into contact with, and we're over 400 miles away. And it gets our attention. It sounds like it's saying, "Hey." So again, if you guys haven't seen the video, go to the Spirit Hunter Entity Follows Me from Suicide Bridge for more on that story. So after that visit, about 6, 7, 8 months later, half a year later, we went back in spring 2008 to Mountain Cemetery in Sonoma. And it was an unforgettable night, to say the least. Captured 2 great pieces of evidence that night. So once again, we did what we usually did with our EVP sessions. We pushed the record button once we walked into the haunted place, and we didn't end the EVP session until we left the haunted place. Now, I don't do this anymore, but I found that I was getting success from doing this method. The trick is to listen to your EVPs immediately when you record for long periods of time. So, about reviewing the recording, we're about 4 minutes into the session, and at Mountain Cemetery, we're passing by the children's graves. And just before the Class A EVP, we had captured what sounded like baby sounds around the children's graves.
These are children's graves, right? The babies. That's crazy. Baby graves. What?
So you hear the baby sound right there, and then about 20 seconds later, something even more interesting comes up here. That was a slowed down version. Here's the regular speed.
That's nice.
Obviously, you can hear it better when it's at a slower speed. Now, upon capturing and sharing that EVP, I've received a lot of criticism over the years that it's just a female voice. It's the girl that's in your group. There's a lot of us there that night. There was about 10 people there. And upon receiving the criticism that it was a female voice, there was no girls there with us. None. Everybody that was there that night was 18 years or older, and none of us sound like that. We don't sound like a 10-year-old boy, it sounds like, or a little girl, or a female. So that's what makes that EVP so credible. Upon reviewing it that night, the group that I was with, everybody agreed that it doesn't sound like any of us. So we didn't know that we captured that EVP until we had gotten back to the dorm to review the evidence. So looking back on the recording after that EVP was captured, I started to take pictures on a digital camera around the cemetery. So we took the pictures. If you look at the cemetery, it's a really cool cemetery. And at first, looking at the pictures, it looked like we hadn't caught anything. I was just scanning through them and I didn't find anything. But then, about a couple years later, I decided to look through them again, and I just got a new MacBook, and I was able to enhance the pictures. So I had this idea, why don't I look through the photos again, and this time enhance them to see if I had caught anything. There was about over 40 pictures that I took that night. So I went through each one of them and enhanced the photo. And I came across this particular one. Now in the original photo, you can't see anything. It's pretty dark around the grave, around the mausoleum. But then when you enhance the photo, you notice that there's a figure standing right next to the mausoleum. And looking at the picture, it looks like a full-body apparition of a woman walking around the cemetery. Here's the before photo, and here's the after photo. That was the only two things we had captured at Mountain Cemetery that night, but of course we didn't walk away empty-handed. Both pieces of evidence are very valuable. So we had one great Class A EVP and one picture of a full-body apparition. Both phenomenal pieces of evidence. So looking back on that night, it crossed my mind like, well, how did we capture these pieces of evidence? And you know, Chip Coffey said it best, the paranormal is something that can't be explained. But observing the investigation now, it was because we came with the intention of wanting to find evidence of the paranormal, wanting to find a ghost, wanting to capture great pieces of evidence. We went into that cemetery with a burning desire to investigate the paranormal. And along with that burning desire, that was the result we got that night. So sometimes, guys, it's just a matter of knowing what it is that you want. So guys, the intent was very simple. We wanted to be there, and we wanted to capture something paranormal. And I think we accomplished it that night. And when you're investigating, guys, you don't have to have a complicated intention. It can be very simple, like the ones that I just stated right now. And that's why we got those two pieces of evidence. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want more of this content. So tell me, what do you guys think? Is the photo I captured authentic? Do you think it's a ghost? Is the EVP I captured authentic? Do you think that voice is the spirit of a child? Tell me what you guys think down below in the comments. And that's it for this video, guys. This is the Spirit Hunter. Thanks for watching.